Nick in Mount Pleasant, Michigan.
Oh,
and
okay.
Turn down your whatever audio device. Okay.
Hi, Nick.
What's up?
Sorry, that last guy got me off track for a sec. Well, hello to you, Russell and Jeff.
Hi.
I have two questions, and I actually gave them to the screener in the wrong order, but they're related to each other. The first one is, I have a friend who, he's an atheist, but he used to be a theist, and he's quite an impressionable fellow, I would say. Basically, if you show him a video and you use big words and inspirational music in the background, or it doesn't even have to be inspirational, just eerie and mysterious, he will believe basically anything. And that's why he got into religion, and then quickly got out because he started asking questions, right? But the problem is now he's into a lot of different type of pseudosciences, and me personally, I'm going to college to be a astrophysicist. I'm in undergrad as a physics student, and I usually am able to skirt aside all of his ideas and all the 2-hour videos that he sends me of the spirit sciences and sacred geometry and astrology, and well, actually, and that's where I kind of draw the line. When he starts to bring stuff to me like astrology or anything physics related, which is kind of like what I want to go into, what I feel passionate about, it's like he's drilling into my brain. Like it bothers me. It's bad, and I don't know. First, I don't know if I can avoid it any longer without like at least confronting him about it, because he is my friend and I can't, just keep letting him talk about this stuff when I think it's total bunk. But how do you get someone to be skeptical and ask questions without? Here's an example. For astrology, I told him that correlation does not necessarily mean causation. And what he told me was, you just need to open your mind more. And he basically adds that on anything that he presents to me, and I tell him, and I ask specific questions.
I think you're being too nice to him. I personally feel like he's taking your cautious politeness as a sign of assent to go ahead and keep on saying it. And if instead of saying, well, correlation is not causation and whatnot, if you were to say, this is a bunch of bullshit and you're really gullible for believing it. First of all, you might be surprised to find that if you're good enough friends, it wouldn't totally ruin the friendship. It would just cast the discussions in a somewhat different light. But, I don't know how good friends you are. You might want to ask yourself, what am I getting out of this friendship? Second of all, if you call him on something that is clearly bullshit, then and you're able to back yourself up, because I feel like you've probably got a bunch of things to say that you're holding back from saying to be mindful of his feelings. He's probably going to wind up realizing that if he's going to bring this stuff up with you, then he's going to get into an argument every time. So either you both find the arguments enjoyable and they keep happening, or one of you just winds up backing off and maybe you don't talk to each other, or you have sort of a gentleman's agreement not to talk about this anymore.
I have an actual specific suggestion.
Okay.
Keeping in mind, of course, that you can't force a person to think rationally.
No way.
They're just bound and determined not to, okay? This is just a specific suggestion. You said he became Christian for a while, and then he quickly left that because he was asking questions? Okay. Next time he brings one of these things up, ask him questions until he tells you, well, you just have to open your mind. And then you turn around and ask him, why didn't you do that for Christianity?
Oh, nice.
Oh, snap. Okay, yeah, that's...
Somewhere in his makeup, there is some glimmer of an ability to recognize bullshit, or at the very least, to recognize the importance of caring whether something is bullshit or not, right?
Okay.
And that's all you're doing. And that's what he did when he asked questions in religion.
Okay. Because it happened just earlier today where he posted an article on Facebook that said physicists find evidence that the universe is part of a giant brain. And this is where I was like, okay, I'm
like that
I'm into
calling
physics.
us.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm into physics, so I'm gonna open this article and I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna see like if I can just catch it, just open it. So I opened it, I read through it, and all it was saying was some scientists and these scientists and these physicists, and I'm like, it doesn't even say who these some scientists are.
Right, and in that situation, if I was interested in arguing with this guy, which I bet I wouldn't be and would just stop following him, but if I were, I would look at that link and say, this article is not very specific. Do you know which scientists they are? And that sort of puts the onus on that guy to actually fill in the gaps that the article has been leaving, because the article is being sloppy and you're letting him know that he can't just get away with referencing some vague authority that makes claims that it doesn't even back up.
Mm-hmm. I guess you are right. I am being very, very nice to him, but I think I've learned throughout our friendship that he gets incredibly defensive when you do attack his beliefs.
Well, tough.
So he feels as though like he says my beliefs are dynamic and they're not static and they're always changing, but he's the only one that can change them. And so he'll go online and search through all this natural science and spirit science stuff, and he'll believe any article that's online. But like if I said it, it's just me being a jerk,
Right.
and he'll be annoying about it. But maybe you're right, and then I'll definitely take your advice in mind.
Well,
and,
like I said, I assume you have your own very good reasons for staying friends with this guy. I don't know them personally.
I'm just a friendly guy, I guess.
Well, you can be too friendly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a finite amount of energy you can devote to the relationships in your life, and if this guy is not worth it, then that's not your problem to make it worth it.
Okay. Yes, that has occurred to me. And my second question is, I want to have kids someday, and I'm actually kind of worried that they will turn out like him in the way that I want them to be incredibly skeptical, and I want them to be scientifically literate, and I want them to ask questions about everything. I'm excited for the time where they ask questions about everything. But the problem is, I'm worried that they won't know how to ask the right questions, and they will start going, oh, well, I'm asking questions, but it's still going into stuff like spirit science. And then I'm worried that they will fall into being too impressionable and too gullible. And I don't know, how do I...
You haven't even had these kids yet?
No.
Okay. I would stop being so deeply worried about it until it's actually a problem in front of you. And second of all, again, you're not going to be able to program their minds to be exactly the way you want them either. So there's a crapshoot, and that is the risk you take. And decide if you can deal with the risk that you wind up with kids you just can't be proud of, and then act accordingly.
That's exactly what I don't want. I don't want to program their mind per se. Like that's what I don't like about religion.
But you're worried that they won't come out the way you want. So
yes.
Now you know why religion loves to make people think its way so much, right? Or people in religion, religious leaders like that so much.
Touching back on what I said earlier about maybe being too nice, I think there's a trap that atheist or very new atheist parents can fall into about, well, I'm just going to not try to influence the kid at all and let them go their own way. And, kids' brains aren't fully formed yet.
Right.
And you as a parent have more opportunity than anyone else to influence the way that they think. And if skepticism and scientific reasoning and being a good reader and a curious mind are things that are important to you, then you share that with your kid. And you hope that they pick up on it as much as possible. And I think that if they ask you about God, you don't lie. You tell them what you think, and you honestly tell them that other people think differently, and you give them your reasons, same as anyone else. I have some posts on the Atheist Experience blog, which you can search for by typing in Atheist Experience Raising Atheists. It's a 2-part post which goes into more detail on what I just said.
Okay, thanks. One small question. Could you explain to me what a straw man argument is? Because I've been watching your videos, and Charlie the Atheist, he used it a million times.
Okay, a straw man is like, let's come up with a quick example. It's when you mischaracterize the argument being made by the other person, and then you argue against that instead of against what the person is actually saying. Okay, and the phrase straw man is written. Imagine, a mannequin that you're beaten up on, right? Well, that's not actually addressing a real person.
Yeah, you take...
That's what that's all about.
You take a scarecrow and you write the words, Pat Robertson on it.
Right.
And then, you beat the stuffing out of that scarecrow and you say, I just kicked Pat Robertson's ass.
I want to do Pat Robertson's voice so bad right now, but I'm on camera.
Okay, so it's something you don't want to do.
You do not want to attack a straw man.
Well, I mean,
it is a waste of
technically,
argument.
if you
catch
can get away
another guy
with some
doing
fallacies.
if you catch somebody else doing that to you, you call them on it. You say, you are attacking a straw man. You are not attacking my actual argument.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
That's all I had.
All right, thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling, Nick.